Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. I hope you're all doing well. So today's video is slightly different and I'm going to share with you my belt collection, and only because this is something that has been highly requested. If you follow me over on Instagram, then you know I pretty much wear a belt with every single outfit that I wear. It is honestly, without a doubt, my favorite accessory, and I think it just always finishes a look. It makes it feel a bit more put together and polished. So I absolutely love my belts, and I've gotten questions on how I choose my belts, what styles I go for, colors, etc. So I thought I would talk you through all of my belts and why I purchased them. And I'm going to talk about the belts in the order that I purchased them, and all of these belts were purchased over the last 3 years. If you don't know, my husband and I moved to Canada about 3 years ago. We came with 2 suitcases each, so there wasn't really any space for accessories, so I actually didn't have any belts with me when we came over. So I kind of started building up my collection from scratch, and I think this will be a nice video and very useful if you don't own belts and you don't know where to start, or if you're just interested in how I make my purchasing decisions when it comes to my belts. So the first belt that I bought when we got to Canada was my Leche belt from Isabel Marant. At that time, a lot of influencers were wearing this belt, and obviously, you know, seeing something over and over again kind of makes you think, oh, maybe I need that as well. But what really drew me to it was the unique design. It was in summer, so I always wear a lot of tans and tan accessories during summer, so I knew that I would get a lot of wear out of this belt. But just honestly, the knot detail is what just made me gravitate towards this belt. It's without a doubt the belt that I get the most compliments on, and the belt that I get asked about the most. So it's a really statement piece. It just adds a lot of interest to an outfit. Even if you're just wearing a white t-shirt and jeans, if you pop on this belt, it really makes such a big difference. And another thing that I love about this belt is the fact that it doesn't have any hardware, so you can wear it with silver or with gold jewelry or other hardware, and I just love it. And I think this belt in particular is a great one to start with if you are looking to start investing in more higher end belts, more designer pieces, but it's definitely more on the affordable side when it comes to designer brands. So I highly recommend this belt. It also comes in a lot of different colors. It comes in black, it comes in white. I must say I actually do have my eye on the black, but for now I just love the tan one, and it's just such a great one. I wear it more during summer than winter, but it's just a really beautiful design that I absolutely love. Before I continue, I just want to say that most of my belts are designer, so they're higher price point. You don't have to feel like you need to invest in designer belts. There are so many different brands out there, high street brands, more affordable brands that carry amazing belts. Some of my favorites include Massimo Dutti, Banana Republic. They've got really great belts. Even sometimes Zara and Mango. One thing that I always recommend when it comes to belts is looking for something that is leather. It just looks more expensive and it is more hard wearing, so it will last you a lot longer. But I will link some of my more affordable alternatives in the description box down below. So don't feel like you have to spend hundreds of dollars on a great belt. Then the next belt that I purchased, and honestly my most worn belt to date, is my black YSL belt. So this one I got right at the beginning of winter 2 years ago, and if I say I wore it 6 days out of the week for the entire fall and winter. I am not exaggerating. I wore this belt so much. It's just a really great one to have. And when we moved to Canada, I started wearing more black. I don't know if it's because we live in a city or it's because my style has kind of matured and evolved, but I just love black, and having a black belt I think is a must, at least in my wardrobe. So this is my second kind of designer belt purchase, but honestly the cost per wear at this stage is below $1. So I've really gotten my money's worth out of this belt. So I normally go for thicker belts, and this is the thicker version of the YSL monogram belt. It comes in a thinner version as well, but I think one of the reasons why I went with the thicker one is, number one, because it's just a style that I usually gravitate towards, and number two, it was the beginning of winter, so I feel like thicker belts kind of suit fall winter fashion a bit more. But I just love the brass, kind of the gold hardware. It also comes in silver, but I wear gold jewelry most of the time, so this just ties in with all of my jewelry and hardware on my other accessories. So yes, this is an expensive one, but definitely worth it in my opinion. So moving on to the summer of the next year, I wear a lot of whites and lighter colors in summer, and I found that I really had a need for a white or a lighter colored belt in my wardrobe. So I looked kind of tirelessly for months on end before I actually found one that I loved, and this was the next belt that I purchased. So this is the Bottega Veneta belt, and it has this kind of triangular gold buckle, and what I love about this belt is it doesn't have any logos, so you would only know it's designer if you're familiar with kind of designer aesthetic and the brands themselves. Really understated belt, and I just love everything about it. Very simplistic, and it's what I needed at the time. It was a white belt. And talking about investing in more designer pieces, I don't mind spending a bit more on my belts. That is an area where I like investing a bit more, because I wear a belt every single day or almost every single day, so I really know that I get my wear out of my belts. It's never a waste of money. The same with my sunglasses, so I don't mind spending a bit more. And yes, I just have a thing for designer belts. But yes, this is one that I got during summer that I wore a ton, and what I love about it is the fact that you can wear it like as a normal belt, but it also has this unique shape because of the triangular buckle. So it also kind of crosses over like that, and it's just a really useful belt, especially in summer. And again, it has a bit of a unique design to it, same with the Leche belt from Isabel Marant. Moving on from summer, about 2 years ago, going into winter again. So I already had my tan Isabel Marant Leche belt, the one with the knot detail, but I was looking for another tan belt that was just a bit more classic. I find that there are some outfits where I don't want to wear like the knotted design with, where I want something a bit more classic, a bit more simple. So I saved up and then I splurged on the Celine Triumph belt. Now this, fun fact, was actually a treat to myself when I hit 10,000 followers over on Instagram, and wow, we are way beyond that, and I am forever grateful for that. But yes, this was my treat for hitting 10,000 followers on Instagram. So it was such a big gift to myself, but another one of those belts that I just wear so much. And a lot of people, like the Celine belts, went through a stage where like everyone had them, and a lot of people said they're just going to be really trendy, almost like the Gucci belt, and then they're going to be over and done with. But even though the buckle is more bold, makes a bit more of a statement, I still think it's a classic and timeless design, and something that I will wear for years and years to come. And sometimes, like, I like minimal and understated, but especially when it comes to my accessories, and you'll see in my jewelry as well, I tend to go for more bolder designs. So that is why I love this buckle, and it really does make a bit of a statement with a more simplistic kind of understated outfit, which I love. But again, with the tan, it's a color that I wear both winter and summer, so I've gotten a lot of wear out of it. And yes, just any chance I get, I grab for this one. Then sticking to winter, a couple of years ago, brown was actually really big, like last winter and the one before, and I absolutely love brown, but I didn't have a belt, so I was looking for a brown belt to add to my collection. And I was actually looking for a brown, like higher end, more designer belt, but I just couldn't find one that I loved. And you know, I'm not gonna buy something very expensive and designer just for the sake of having it. I really have to love it and know that I'm gonna wear it for me to spend that amount of money on it. So I actually found this one on Banana Republic's website. So this is like a croc detail, just a very simple brown belt, and then it has this gold buckle. Again, very simple, classic, understated, and this was kind of a test as well to see how much I wear a brown belt. And to be honest with you, I actually am glad that I didn't spend money on a designer brown belt, because as much as I love brown and I have quite a few brown clothing pieces, I just don't wear it as often as black. So where I know I get a lot of wear out of my black belts, with brown not as much. So it's then a better idea to just find something that is a lower price point, because I don't wear it that often. And that is a great tip that I have if you're looking to buying something that is more designer, high end, and you're not sure whether you're going to wear it a lot. Maybe it's a color that you don't already have in your wardrobe. Say for instance a black belt, you're looking at a designer one, you don't own a black belt, so you're not sure if you're going to get a lot of wear out of it. Then my tip is to first buy something that is lower price point. It doesn't have to be something that is synthetic. You can still get a really affordable leather belt, but just buy a more affordable option first. See if you wear it a lot, and if you wear it a lot and you know you're going to get your wear out of a more expensive one, then it's a good idea to invest in a designer one. So fast forward almost a year until I bought another belt. I was really content with the colors that I had in my wardrobe. I rotated between them, I got a lot of wear out of them, and at that stage I really didn't find a need for another belt or another color. But beginning of spring I actually started wearing a lot of beige colors. I actually have a bag from Parissa Wang in like a taupey beige, so I started wearing that a lot and just incorporating a lot more kind of beigey tones, taupey tones into my wardrobe. And I found that the tan and the black both were just really dark, so I wanted another lighter colored belt, and I was specifically looking for either beige or cream or taupe, and you can't believe how difficult it is to get a color like that. So I searched pretty much 3 or 4 months before I found a belt that I think I would like. So the next purchase that I made was my Loewe belt. So this one was actually, I was really on the fence about this one. It was the color that I was looking for, but it was a thin belt. And as I mentioned before, and kind of all the belts that I showed you up until now, everything was thicker, so between 2 and 3 centimeters. So I was really on the fence about a thin belt, but I loved the color and I thought, you know, I'm going to order it and see how it looks on, try it on, see how it looks with a few different outfits. And honestly, I'm so glad that I got this one. I think it just, a thinner belt just gives a different look. I love thinner belts for summer specifically. I don't know, it just feels more summer appropriate. And also really versatile thickness. So I'm so in love with this belt, and just the design of it, just the subtle L logo from Loewe. I think it's so unique, and again, one of those things, only if you know designer logos will you recognize this. For everyone else, it's just a small little squiggly buckle. So really subtle and understated, but I've worn this so much, especially during spring and summer. So really useful color. I will of course never wear a color like this as much as my black belts, but it is nice to have an alternative, and I have gotten a lot of wear out of it. So definitely one of my favorite belt purchases, just because it is a bit more different than I'm used to, so it feels a bit newer and trendier, if you will. Then my latest purchase, and this is actually the exact same belt as the one I just showed you, just in black. I actually was wearing it, so I quickly had to take it off to show you, but this is the thin black Loewe belt. Now, I already own a black belt, the YSL one, but I really wanted to add a thin black belt to my wardrobe. I think especially with summer outfits, and if you wear it with like an all white outfit or all lighter colors, I think a thinner belt just works a bit better because it's a bit more subtle and understated. I think pairing a thick black belt, for instance, with this outfit I'm wearing with the white trousers and the white blouse, just feels very overpowering, and it almost like it overpowers the entire outfit and your eye automatically goes to the belt. Whereas a thinner belt, it still gives that contrast, but it's not as thick, so it doesn't feel like it's out of place in the outfit. And also, if you've watched my last video that I posted on styling maxi slip dresses, then you would have seen I styled this belt over a slip dress, and I think a thinner belt works really well styled with lighter summery fabrics like silks, linens, that sort of thing, because it's just thinner and it feels a bit more lighter and a bit more appropriate with those more flowier fabrics. So that is the reasoning behind buying a thinner black belt. And honestly, I've only had this for a couple of months, but I've worn this more often than the thick YSL belt. So I think this is almost gonna be my summer black belt, and then the YSL one is probably gonna be more for fall and winter. But we have also seen a lot more thinner belts over the last few seasons, and I think it will continue into fall and winter, so it's just a different style. So that is my belt collection, and I just quickly want to recap like what I'm looking for when I buy a belt. So already said I always look for leather because it's just better quality and it looks more expensive. I love unique designs when it comes to belts, but I go for something unique that still translates to classic and timeless. So I always ask myself, if I buy this now, will I still want to wear it in 10 years? Not will it be trendy, because I don't really believe in trends, but will I want to wear it in 10 years? And if the answer is yes, then I know it's a good purchase. So I like unique design details. And I also got a question about whether or not I look for reversible belts, and the answer to that is no. If a belt that I love is reversible, then it's a bonus, but if it's not reversible, it's not going to give me sleepless nights, or it won't make me not purchase a belt if it's not reversible. So very few belts out there are reversible, so I don't really focus on that. But that is kind of my tips for buying belts. And as I said, you don't have to go designer, you don't have to go very high price point, you can go something more affordable. There are lots of options out there, so you don't have to break the bank. And that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. This was a bit of a chatty one, and I realized now that it was probably a bit too long because I got really passionate about talking about belts. But yes, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I will link all of these belts as well as some more affordable options, and I will see you again in next week's video. Bye.